Hello again. So yesterday let me show you my thing. We did apple pie, and then our overall theme was kindness and how to be kind to others. So again, that is our umbrella of a theme is kindness, and then we're gonna have books underneath. Our next book is called Sophie's Masterpiece, and this cover actually freaked me out a little bit. And we're gonna talk why in just a moment. I'm gonna read the summary while you stare at the picture. Sophie is an artist who wants to spin beautiful creations all day long and, someday, a masterpiece. As a spider, though, Sophie had a hard time finding a welcoming place in which she can be free to live and spin. She shooed and shuffled all over Beekman's boarding house until one day she finally finds the warm, comfortable, safe home for which she always yearned, and the inspiration for the masterpiece of her lifetime. Sounds exciting, right? So, let's talk a little bit. Suppose you were kind to someone, but they weren't kind to you. Would you be nice if the other person was mean? So again, this is our umbrella of kindness. Would you be nice if someone was mean? I hope that's a yes. Especially in my class, we are always kind to others, and I don't accept someone not being kind. But we also have a cool scoreboard, which you'll find out when I see you in person. And then we're going to talk about the cover real quick. So we talked about our umbrella, and we're going to talk about the cover. The spider in this story is named Sophie. What's her name? Sophie. And here she is on the cover. The title of the book is called Sophie's Masterpiece. The author is Eileen Spinelli. What do you think her masterpiece is, based off the cover? Let's find out. All right. So, we're trying to find it. There we go. Would it be easier? I'm just going to try something. Nope, that's not easier. Sophie was an ordinary house spider. Sophie was an artist. She spun webs more wondrous than anyone has ever seen. Her playmates called her incredible. Her mama was proud. Someday, they said, she's going to spin a masterpiece. Let's talk about the illustrations. What do they tell you about Sophie? What do the pictures tell you about Sophie? Maybe she has some human parts and some spider parts. Do you see that? Cool. When Sophie arrived at the age when a young spider must strike out of her own, she moved to Beekman's boarding house. The first thing she did was look around. She saw dull green walls, faded rugs, and old window shades. The place cried out for her talents. Sophie set to work. Her first project was to weave a web of curtains for Beekman's front parlor. Day after day, she whizzed along, blending a golden thread of sun into her silk. Then one day, the landlady noticed her and screamed, "I'll have no spiders in my parlor." She wadded at Sophie with a dust rag. Sophie knew when she wasn't wanted. She scampered across the wall and up the stairs into the tugboat captain's closet. Why do you think she screamed? I would scream if there was a snake. not too nervous about spiders. But maybe she is terrified of spiders, especially because that looks like a huge spider, right? When she finally settled down, she looked around and saw nothing but gray. Gray shirts, gray pants, gray sweaters. The captain needs a new suit. Sophie decided something bright, blue, like the sky. She began to spin patiently, a sleeve, a collar. One day, the tugboat captain caught Sophie at work. He screeched, "A spider!" Then he climbed onto the windowsill and out to the roof. Sophie did not want anyone falling off the roof on her account. She scuttled out of the closet, down the hall, and into the cook's bedroom slipper. Cook's bedroom slippers were patched and dirty. "I'll spin Cook a new pair," Sophie thought. After a respite, no sooner had Sophie snuggled into the toe than she was being flung to the floor. Was it an earthquake? No. It was Cook who had shaken Sophie out. "Yuck," scowled Cook. "Look at that ugly, disgusting spider." Sophie's feelings were hurt. With great dignity, she journeyed across the rug and under Cook's door. She made the long, long climb up the steep stairs to the third floor where a young woman lived. Wearily, Sophie slipped into the young woman's knitted basket and fell asleep. So far, no one who lives in the boarding house appreciates Sophie's talents or attempts of kindness, which makes me feel really sad. By this time, many spiders' years have passed. Sophie was older. She only had energy to spin a few small things for herself. A tiny rose-patterned case for her pillow, 8 colorful socks to keep her legs warm. But mostly, she slept. Then one day the young woman discovered Sophie. "Oh no," thought Sophie, close to tears. She knew she did not have the strength for any more journeys. But the young woman did not swat at Sophie with a dust rag. She did not climb on the roof. She did not say that Sophie was ugly. She simply smiled. After being kind to other people, Sophie finally finds someone who's kind to her with just a smile, just like I was talking about yesterday. How even a smile in a grocery store could change someone's day. And without disturbing Sophie in the least, the young woman picked up her needle and yarn. Sophie watched as the young woman knitted day after day. "Booties!" cried Sophie. The young woman was going to have a baby. After the booties were finished, the young woman knitted a baby sweater. Then the yarn was gone. The young woman did not have enough money to buy yarn for a baby blanket. "Never mind," the landlady told her. "There's an old brown quilt in the hall closet. Your baby can use that." Sophie had seen the quilt. It was scratchy and drab, not fit for a baby. Sophie knew the answer. She would have to spin a blanket herself. In her younger days, this would have been no problem, or this would not have been a problem. But Sophie has grown frail and weak. The baby was due any day. Could Sophie complete the blanket in time? She climbed out of the yarn basket. She traveled to the wide windowsill. Strands of moonlight fell into the room. "Excellent," she thought. "I'll weave those strands into the baby's blanket. Some starlight, too." Sophie began. As she spun, new ideas came to her. She worked them into the blanket. Snippets of fragrant pine, wisps of night, old lullabies, and playful snowflakes. Sophie spun without blinking or eating or sleeping. She was never more exhausted or determined. On and on she spun. She was down to the farthest corner of the blanket when she heard the cry of a young woman's newborn baby. And there, on that farthest corner, is where Sophie wove into the blanket her very own heart. Let's see how the story ends. That night, as the young woman was about to cover her infant with the landlady's cloak, something on the windowsill caught her eye. It was a blanket, so soft, so beautiful, as to be fit for a prince. The young woman knew that was no ordinary blanket. She placed it with love and wonderment around her sleeping baby, and went to sleep herself with her hand upon the little spider's last spinning. Sophie's masterpiece. The end. So in the story, let's just quick chit chat. I noticed that Sophie moved into a new house and everyone was kind of mean to her because she was a spider and she was different than others and it scared them. One person was nice to her, so she became friends with her. When that girl had a baby, which this wolf's gonna have a baby, she spent her last days alive making a blanket for this lady. That is a true act of kindness. She put everything she had into this blanket because that girl was nice to her. You can really see how being nice to someone can change someone's life, like it did for Sophie, but also how it can be repaid, which is called karma sometimes. Um, Here is some student work. It said Sophie's masterpiece. Sophie tried to be kind to people, but they were mean to her. One young woman was kind to Sophie. Sophie was kind to her and her baby by weaving her a blanket. She wove her whole heart into it. And that's some student work. Today on Seesaw, you're going to answer the question that I posted. All right, see you tomorrow.